Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Breakfast with Blaha, and I haven't done one of these in a few weeks. I got really ahead on these, and I don't upload them very quick, so who knows by the time this one will be up. But today I'm having chicken, rice, carrots, and Coke Zero. Alright, speaking of which, let's talk a little bit about body fat and bulking, and I want to throw the caveat up front. When I make videos, people love to take things out of context. If you're a novice lifter, I'm not talking about you because you're not strong enough to do pull-ups and dips and stuff anyways. It wouldn't matter if you went on a cut. In other words, you haven't built at least a remedial strength base. You can't deadlift, 400, squat 315, bench 225. Nobody's talking about you here. You probably need to bulk. You might need to gain 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds. Some of you need to gain 50 pounds. Yes, I've had clients like that. I'm not talking about you. You're tiny and weak. Doesn't matter how lean you get, because in fact, if you try to take this advice and you're weak, what's going to happen? You're going to lose the little bit of muscle you have, and you're going to waste your noob gains, and you're going to need 3 years to make the gains you could have made in one. We're not talking about you. We're talking about people who have a base already. People will say, what's a reasonable body fat to bulk to? And then people will say stuff like, they'll try to give you a percentage, right? But then no one wants to get a DEXA scan every 10 weeks. Well, then that's kind of a waste, isn't it? If you're not going to pay for DEXA scans, 5 or 6 DEXA scans a year, using body fat percentage or lean body mass or any of that is a completely useless metric. You can't do anything with it. And it doesn't matter. Because again, people will say, we'll just go by the mirror. Well, no. Mirror doesn't work because number one, if we're not chasing weird homoerotic aesthetics, which hopefully you're not, you don't care about that much, should be a side effect of your lifting and being lean, not your goal. This performance channel, we care about being athletic, right? We care about being strong, but we care about fitness, care about athleticism. We can use athletic metrics of this, and this applies better because now we have a performance thing to go off of. And I would say, look, if you can't do pull-ups, chin-ups, dips, things like that, and you've been bulking for a while, maybe it's time to address the elephant in the living room, and that elephant's your fat ass, right? And if you're strong enough to deadlift a reasonable weight and you're telling me you can't do a couple pull-ups, we got a problem. Which kind of comes back over to my point before. I've had skinny kids. Like Jack could only do 3 chin-ups when we were messing with chin-ups for a while. I'd take him away and do rows. Well, he's skinny and needs to bulk. Kid needs to gain another 30, 40 pounds. You can't do pull-ups. You do 3 chin-ups. So again, no strength base. But if you've got a strength base, you can't do 7, 8 pull-ups, maybe 10 dips. All right. Some hanging leg raises with the legs out straight. Things like that. We got a problem. Now people will say, well, wouldn't you count pistol squat? No, pistol squats don't work. There's nothing impressive strength-wise about knocking out 10 pistol squats. You can be insanely weak with insanely weak legs and do that. It's a balancing circus act. Nobody cares. In other words, someone with my squat doing 30 reps on a pistol squat, the force required just isn't that difficult. I can't balance myself and do it. So this is not useful here. We're talking things that we can measure strength with. And this tells us how good a shape we're in too, right? Because if we're going to be athletic, we need the ability to move our own body around. And if you can't do a sufficient number of pull-ups or chin-ups, dips, and you've been bulking, you probably have gotten too fat. You've probably gotten too fat. Now, of course, people will say, well, there's fat guys who can do tons of them. Yes, there are. So they're okay. Right? I can name some guys who aren't lean, they're a heavier body. We've seen Winning knock out like 12 pull-ups, double overhand pull-ups. Not necessarily that fat, he really isn't. But that, again, tells us a lot about where he is. How about someone like, other YouTuber, Big Boy? Dude can knock out wide grip pull-ups with a chain around his neck at a higher body fat. You see where we're going with this? He's probably okay. A lot of NFL linemen, they can crank out 10 plus pull-ups in spite of the fact that they're 300 plus pounds. All right, we're probably okay from an athletic perspective here. We're okay from an athletic perspective. Even at these body weights. See, so again, we don't need some mirror metric because, again, if you care about the mirror, you're going to have body dysmorphia anyways, probably. So you're going to look fat no matter what. This isn't good. But if we have performance metrics, we know how strong you are relative to your weight and to your body fat. All right, it tells us a little bit about your athleticism. So here's what I would say. If you can't do at least 8 pull-ups or chin-ups with your body weight anymore, it's probably time to cut. Probably is time to lose some body fat. No matter what's going on with your training, if you've already built a base. All right, I'd say closer to 10. Closer to 10. Now, let's come back over to the other point. If you can crank out like 18 to 20, you probably need to bulk harder. You're probably at that point where it's I could probably stand to gain weight a little bit quicker. We could use dips too, although dips tend to be a little easier. Right? They tend to be easier than pull-ups and maybe not always than chin-ups. Same thing with dips. Like here's what I would say. You need to be able to do 8 to 10 pull-ups or chin-ups with your body weight. You need to be able to do at least 10 dips. We're at a point where you can't do that without struggling or getting out of breath. Right? For one set. It doesn't have to be a bunch of sets like sometimes I do. You can't do that and you've been bulking a while. All right? You've gotten out of shape. Your body fat's probably too high. Your conditioning, your work capacity are probably too low. Time for you to cut the calories back a little bit. Lose a little body fat. Maybe get out. Do some circuit training. Drag a sled a little bit. This is a point where it's time to get back into shape because you're not athletic anymore, right? You're not athletic, and that's not good. That's not what we want. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.